Hi, guys. Welcome to Drama in Session,
With Carina and Heidi,
where we're trying to get legally dramatic with you guys.
with all your story submissions and your questions.
Yes, and we did get a lot of questions this time as well. Thank you, guys. You guys have some very interesting stories. I'm glad to know that there are a lot of people that think that they're alone in this, and they're going to quickly find out that they are not.
Yes. But I guess we can start. Karina's birthday already passed. I know the last episode you guys saw, we were talking about it, but it happened. The new era is here. So,
Especially in my queen era. I labeled it that because I was a little nervous about turning 40. But yes, I'm officially in my queen era. I had the best weekend ever, thanks to my Hardy clanner over here. She did a whole Pilates event party, which was the cutest thing.
it was very cute.
I think it was pink and Pilates. If you guys follow me, you guys know that is all my jam right there.
Shout out to Refine Studios.
Definitely our studio that we love and allowed us to use the space. It was perfect.
Yes. And on that note, we are on Spotify. If you guys didn't see our post, Drama is
You could listen to it in the car, on the road.
yes, on your commute to work or on the background while you're cleaning at home or running after your kids.
Yes, everything. We're there. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify. We're trying to get around everywhere, all the technology, so that we're available for you guys. So I know you guys want the drama. Here for it.
Yes. So if you're listening right now on Spotify, hello. Well, we can dive into the questions. I know that we realize we talk so much, but we just want to give you guys as much I don't know, information as we can
While sharing our stories.
exactly.
We got a story from someone that actually is so relatable to a few current cases that we have. So without giving those specific details, I'll kind of tie them in based on what was said in this story.
Yes. So let's get started. This writer says, I've been going back and forth to court with my ex for 3 years now. She is extremely toxic, and I worry about the kids when they're with her. I tried to tell the judge over and over again that she wasn't a fit parent because she parties too much and she drinks a lot. Finally, 3 months ago, she was pulled over by the cops and arrested for a DUI, and the kids were with her in the vehicle. They are now in my care primarily, but the judge still lets mom see them. She seems to be getting better at the partying. Well, I guess less partying. But I have reason to believe that now she's in an abusive relationship as well. I don't know how to get the judge to understand that her kids are not safe with her still. What do you recommend I do or say?
Well, there's a lot going on there.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing is obviously we want to make sure that the kids are going to be safe, which I think that that's his primarily, or that's his main concern.
Right.
That the kids are not safe in her care. The one thing that stood out to me is that he is saying that he's constantly trying to tell the judge that she's toxic or that she has a drinking problem or that she's a party animal or whatever the case may be. I think that that's where a lot of people don't understand how court works, and they go in there telling the judge that they're toxic, they're not a good mom, they're not a good dad, they're a narcissist, and like everybody's main word that they love to bring up, right? Those things don't go very well in my experience. I think it's better in your case to show the judge ways that she's toxic, right? So if she's constantly blowing you up and sending you all kinds of crazy text messages, you can say that even though the kids are in her care, she spends her time still fighting with me. Obviously, she's not really caring for the kids. Or what are the toxic things that she does? Because he just tries to describe her actions or her behavior using one word. And I think when it comes to court, it's better to show a judge.
Exactly. It's always, I think we talked about it last time, always documenting everything. So if whether it's text messages, now we see a lot of features where on Apple iPhones, actually, you're able to send a message and then you can edit it. So we tell our clients are like,
And
we
send
have,
it.
yes. And then we have clients that are like, I swear she sent all these messages and now I am going back to screenshot and they're not there. As soon as you get them, screenshot them because we have a case right now where the girl is just going off and then she'll delete it. She'll edit it and delete it and put a period. And it's not just periods on messages.
I mean, it says that it was unsent, so obviously you know that it wasn't a good message, but what did it say? A way to avoid that is to use a parenting app. Yeah, it's just Talking Parents or Our Family Wizard. Usually the courts will order that in your case, but if you could just jump on that right away as soon as you guys start trying to communicate about the kids, I think it would be the best thing to do because you can categorize your conversations, tabs, I think, picking up or school events, late pickups, I don't know, whatever it is that you guys discuss, holidays, and nothing can be deleted, nothing can be edited. I mean, what it is. I think there's some parenting apps that actually will tell you, are you sure you want to send this? You sound kind of aggressive, which I think people need, right?
And I don't know if it's sponsored. I don't think we're sponsored, but we do have a Talking Parents link for Reyna Law.
We do, and we'll actually share that with you as well.
We'll put it in our bio.
Yes, so that you can go ahead and download that because it is important. It helps you remember that everything you say and everything that happens could be potentially shown to the judge. And that's what I tell everyone. You need to make sure that you're acting the way that you want to be perceived by the judge. Because if you're sending these text messages and your excuse is like, well, she's sending me these text messages too, it doesn't matter. Now both of you guys look toxic.
Mm-hmm.
So going back to his dilemma, I think that his concern, I think he mentioned something like the judge is still allowing her to see the kids. Well, when it comes to custody, the judge is always going to want the parent to be a part of the child's life. The court is going to try to do whatever the court can to protect the children, make sure that they're safe. And sometimes they'll even go the extra mile and ensure the parent is getting the help that they need, like having them enroll into therapy and AA or whatever their situation is.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to them still seeing the children, yes. And I think we touched on it last time. You know, they may have monitored visits, professionally monitored visits, unprofessionally monitored visit, like with a friend or a family member, or the visits could be in a public location. It just varies on the situation.
Right.
So we don't really know too much about this, but if his concern is that the judge is still going to allow her to see the children, I think that that's going to be the case no matter what.
Exactly.
And now he has proof that she's a drinker. Now she got pulled over with, and she got a DUI.
With the kids in the car.
With the kids in the car,
Mhm.
which is a big red flag. So I think that the judge will likely order that neither parent can drink when the children are in their care. That's usually a standard order. Anytime that you do suspect that there is drinking on the other side and you are concerned, I would ask for that order, and it's going to be mutual. So you can't go in and ask for it and then expect to not, to be partying and drinking on your weekend with the kids because it'll be in place for both parents.
Right. And I think I've also seen orders made as well of the parent who, let's say the mom who got the DUI is not allowed to drive the children during the exchanges.
Yes.
Sometimes they'll appoint that monitor to do the driving.
Yeah. So I think that it's really important to show why you need certain orders or show why a certain behavior is concerning to you. And I think the next part that he talks about is the fact that she's getting better at partying or she's not farting. I don't know. We don't know. But he says that he feels that now she's in a toxic relationship. That comes up a lot because how do you, or not a toxic, I think he said abusive, right? How do you prove that someone's in an abusive relationship? Well, you don't want to go in guns blazing and saying like, she's in an abusive relationship, she's an alcoholic if you don't have the proof, because then you just sound like you're a bitter baby mama or upset baby daddy or whatever it is. And you don't really have any proof to back yourself up, the judge is not going to really believe you. So now that he has that type of evidence about the drinking, he's able to bring that up to show it. But it really depends on what he has. So why would he think that she was in an abusive relationship? Did somebody tell him? Does she show up with black eyes? Do the kids mention it? He needs to give those type of examples so that the judge can say, well, yeah, there's enough here for us to believe that this is not a good environment or a good safe place. Another way is to say, I really do think that because she has limited time now, she should be spending the time with the children and not with the significant other, because we also believe that there's other things going on. And maybe you ask the court to limit her time with her and the kids, which it really should be if she's going to have limited time.
Right. Or the abusive partner showing up to his house, right? Or confronting him. We just had a case like that as well.
Yes, we had a case like that where mom decided to bring her partner who claims he just wanted to introduce himself to her clients.
Right. And wanted to take him for a walk.
Yes, I mean, there were no video cameras in the area, nothing like that. But I mean, when somebody says, let's go take a walk, I don't think that he really meant, let's go get some ice cream down at the liquor store.
Right.
But it happens. And I know that mom in that situation is probably telling this other person that this is not right and they're lying about me, which usually happens. But I think in those situations, you have to remember to just always be the bigger person. Yeah, just so grateful that our client was, because it took everything in him to walk away from that situation and call us instead and say, I need a restraining order, or I need to take her back to court, or this isn't right.
Yeah. Well, I think that wraps up that one. Diving into the next one. A very popular question is retainer amount, how much it is to retain an attorney. And I guess I also wanted to give some preface that a lot of people call our office, well, now that we started the podcast and even social media, of, hey, I saw you guys, I saw your TikTok, I saw your video, I want to know if you can help me. Our law firm specifically handles LA County cases. We do not handle Orange County, San Bernardino.
Every attorney is different, right?
Exactly.
You want to make sure that you contact your attorney or an attorney in your area, because I think we even got people from New York, Texas,
Washington, different states.
why would you want to hire, first of all, why would you want to hire me? I know nothing about the Texas law or anything like that. And then you're going to pay for my travel expenses. Like, make that make sense. Use that money on your kid.
Yes.
But the reason why we bring that up is because I believe that judges and attorneys need to be able to understand each other. And you want to make sure that your attorney knows, not necessarily knows the judge, but knows what the judge is looking for, knows how to present cases to the judge, can easily tell you, oh, no, that's not going to fly with this judge, but maybe it'll fly with another judge. I think that that's where people need to kind of interview their attorney as well and figure out, are you going to be the best fit for me?
Exactly. And then once you do the consultation, they will let you know how much it will be to retain them.
Yeah.
Which varies.
Yes, it varies on your case. And that's what we try to explain to people. And I know it's very scary when you're going through a divorce or a custody matter, because you do hear stories about people saying, I spent X amount of money. And I think that was submitted in our form submission. Somebody said, I've already spent close to $40,000 on my divorce. Why is this so expensive? I don't think that every divorce is that expensive. Are there divorces that expensive? Yes. Generally, that's with really high assets, or when people just frankly don't get along and want to fight. We talked about it in our last podcast. People were fighting over their dog, literally having exchanges. Every time we had an exchange, it was like, I have to call my attorney and document this. All of that gets billed, and you really have to tell yourself, is this something that I'm willing to pay more for or not? When it comes to custody, most people say yes. But it's interesting because people will come and hire us and they'll say, we get along, everything is great. And then the next week, they're like, I need a restraining order. Like, what happened? You guys were doing so good.
Literally this week, we just got a new retainer. We're okay, everything's fine. We're fine. And then the next day, she's like, oh, yeah, I was able to serve him with the divorce papers. And we're like, okay. And she's like, I served him on his birthday. And we're like, his birthday? I thought we were good. We haven't even started.
She's like, that's what he gets. I mean, I don't really know too much about the situation yet. Maybe they were hanging out together, saying happy birthday. I don't know, but
Open that box.
open that gift. The kid's probably that one. No, and that's not the way you serve someone. We don't give a pause of information, but we're just speculating as to what happened. Grandma, can you hand him that gift? Hey, he said, let's sign here. So, I mean, divorces, custody, they can just be going down a straight path, and all of a sudden they turn, like this guy who says, all of a sudden she got a DUI. Does that mean that now he goes in and files an emergency order? Does that mean that now he files a regular hearing, or something else is happening? Obviously, at that point, I'm assuming Child Protective Services was involved, and they're gonna guide him and let him know what he needs to do because of the kids weren't in the vehicle. So it really just depends. There are attorneys for the most part that work on retainer, which means that you pay as you go and everyone has an hourly rate. I know that there are some attorneys that work on a flat fee, but in divorces, I just don't see that working out very well because our experience with those attorneys is that they don't call us back.
Mm-hmm.
They want to do the very, very bare minimum.
Yes, and then both clients or our client is like, "Hello, what's next?" And we're like, we haven't heard from them. We're calling, we're emailing."
Just keep that in mind. Yeah, or looking for an attorney. And I know that it sounds scary and I know that it can get expensive, but it really depends on you and what you want to fight for and what's important to you, or if you're just being petty.
Yes, and then again, going back to some retainer could be a large sum to you, depending on what it is that they quoted you. But we've seen clients coming in and they're worried, and then they call us a week later, like, "Okay, I got a loan from like 5 different family members." Like their family pitches in, so it's possible.
You just have to figure out how to make it happen. And then the other thing is that make people come in saying there's no way we're going to settle, we're never going to get along, and then we file. And I think that that's so important to understand that when in the period of you guys separating and filing, it's called the period of unknown. That's the way that I refer to it, where everyone's like, I'm gonna quit my job, I'm not gonna pay you anything, and I'm gonna move out and I'm taking the house. Like everyone just says whatever they want to say. When you officially file and when that person has the paperwork, things change. Conversations happen. It's more of like, okay, we're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be adults. And it happens all the time. And that's when people will call us back and they're like, oh, we have a full agreement. We worked it out. Everything's good. I'm like, wow, this is great. This is perfect. So it really depends on every case, right? Every situation. Everyone's different. So there's no way that anybody could say like, oh, well, your divorce should have been this, or your divorce is going to be this, because it's hard to project what will happen.
Exactly. Someone else asked, "What trends do you see emerging in family law? I'm getting married and my parents were divorced, so how can I avoid a divorce?"
Well, that is a very good question. My first thought would be a prenup, because prenups are very important to have. I know that they're associated with wealth and only certain people get prenups. But anytime that someone asks me, should I get a prenup? Like the fact that you're asking me if you should get a prenup, you should 100% get a prenup. But I also think that people need to get prenups even if they don't have a lot of assets, because essentially you're working through the possibility of a divorce during the time when you guys are happy and in love, as opposed to the time that you guys are not happy, not in love, and your marriage is failing, right? Because that's when you have to figure out who's going to keep what and what's going to happen. But with a prenup, you're essentially saying that this is what we're going to do in the event of a divorce, and you can lay it out. I'm keeping the dog. I'm keeping this. You're getting this. We both walk away with what we came here with. We can both have joint assets. If we start a business together, we split it up. I mean, it can literally be anything that you want it to be. So I think that in protecting yourself, prenup is the way to go. But I also think that what trends we see in divorces is finances. Finances are so big. I know that everyone thinks infidelity, but we live in California where love is love, and I don't know, people cheat. Look, people cheat. So infidelity, I mean, it does happen, but I think that the main thing that breaks people up is the finances, and people keeping secrets about finances, and people being weird about their finances.
Yes, and that involves, I don't know, stocks.
Yeah.
And here we are subpoenaing things that we didn't even know they had, and
Yeah.
because they don't want to give us that information. So
That's where it gets very complicated, or when people realize like, oh, he's been a day trader and all of this stuff that's been happening.
and he withdrew money every so often, and
What was he using it on? I mean, we got to look through all these statements. So sometimes you find some real interesting stuff on there.
like, why does that text? It's so simple. And I'm like, dang, this person lives in and out. Every-
wow, this person was like having a good time in Mexico. It's a lot of funny stuff because you will have to turn in those type of financial stuff. But I think during a marriage, as long as you're very open, it's not necessarily that you have to have every account together or combine every one of your finances. It's more of just having the open lines of communication to be able to talk about finances, to be able to talk about, okay, how are we going to figure out a down payment for a house? Co- Depending on how much savings you have, how much savings I have. It's just important to just be on the same page, especially when it comes to finances, because it's gonna help both of you guys. And
Yeah. Okay.
so, what's our next question? The other thing that has come up a lot is father's rights and the changes that are happening in custody. I know that a lot of people still believe that moms should have the rights to the kids. And a lot of the times it is true. There are some judges that do make dads jump through hoops, but that's not always the case anymore. We have a lot of clients that we've been able to get them full custody of their children, being dad, being mom. I don't necessarily think that that's the best situation to be in, because if you're going to get full custody of your child, it's because the other parent is not a very good parent.
Mm-hmm.
The other,
Not pulling their weight.
yes.
And then a lot of times people thinking like, oh, mom can't do any wrong. But I think we've gone through that.
Especially in the situation we had, right? Moms get DUIs. Moms have boyfriends. Moms are involved in toxic relationships. It's not that it doesn't happen, but I do know that there are certain cases where I have sat there and I've thought, wow, if my client was the woman and this guy was running outside naked, screaming during an exchange, he would not only not have his kids, he would be in jail and his name would be on a list. But that did not happen. So there are a few scenarios where I'm like, wow, this is just very gender specific in this situation. But I have seen it where the judges, I mean, they're really, let's start at 50-50 and let's move backwards. If you can't handle 50-50, let's see why. And that's one thing that we really tell our clients when they say, well, I want 50-50 or I want a 70-30. What does that mean? What do you mean 70-30? What do you mean? Well, I just want them to have every other weekend. Okay, is it because they can't have the children during the week? Is it because they can't get them to school drop off? Like, give me a reason why they can't have them. And a lot of the times now we see that dads are very involved, and we have hybrid positions where they're home and then they're at work. Moms can be more involved too. So the court really tries to look at all of those aspects.
And I think lately, just for some context, for example, we have a client who came in. They had a baby. They weren't married. Had a baby. The baby's like 3 months old, and mom was not letting our client see the baby because her I don't know. She was thinking that, oh, the baby's too small. Like, you are a first time dad. She's a first time mom. He lives with his parents, his siblings. And so we go to court with her parents. Anyway, we go to court and the judge is like, lady, like, why haven't you let this guy see his kid? Like, no, dad gets visitations from this time to this time. And we're like, great.
And then she was like, well, the baby's always lived with me. And the judge is like, yes, okay, I get that. But what?
Right.
So I think that dads, you guys should just go in there just trying to prove that you're able to be a dad, and moms as well, because at the end of the day, the judge just wants to figure out the best schedule for your child, not necessarily what is going to work for you. And I think we talked about it the last time.
And a lot of times we hear when we get the consults, right? Like, oh, okay, so you're trying to get custody. When's the last time you saw your child? 6 months ago. Like, what? Why? Because she didn't let me.
Right. Nobody that's going to let me not see my kid.
So our next question, what role does mediation play in family law cases? Is it always an option? So I think this is a very popular question because we have clients that either come in to the office to start up their case and it's like, okay, well, I have mediation this day. Can you represent me? So for context, in LA County, mediation is appointed when you have a custody case.
Yes.
So mediation is between petitioner and respondent. There's no attorneys.
So the parties.
Right.
Yes.
And the mediator. And usually the mediator, I think you mentioned, is like a licensed
Or something like that. Yeah. And their whole goal is to help them come to an agreement. Because you get a lot of people that have people in their ear, right? Whether it's their attorney, whether it's their mom, whether it's their neighbor. So that's a chance for them to be by themselves with the mediator and really try to figure it out. It works. People think it doesn't work.
Yes.
It works. I don't know what these mediators do sometimes, but I'm like, wow, they came out with a full agreement, you people.
And mediation is solely regarding visitation and custody arrangements. Everything else, if there's other issues, that'll be handled with your attorneys in court. But sometimes people walk away, okay, I will have the child a 225, blah, 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 for this holiday. And then they come back and we're like, okay, great. We don't have to deal with that. You guys figured it out. At the end of the day, you're the parent and you know what days you're available, what days you're not. And we have nothing. I mean, we can help and right if there are no agreements, but it's always best when you guys are able to do that on your own.
100%. Because why would you want a judge who knows nothing about you, who has read like a few pages of a declaration, who is going to have you sit in front of them for probably 5 minutes, and you want them to decide the fate of when you're going to pick up your child and when you're going to drop them off? I think not.
And then if it doesn't work for you, then you're like, dang, I'm going to have to go back to court and pay again and change this.
Yeah.
So,
And it's hard when you're in that situation, but I think that having somebody like a mediator guide you through that, or your attorney guide you through that, it really helps. And going off of that, I think with mediation, it's very specific to the custody visitation. So you take out all of the other emotional stuff, right? We're not talking about, well, am I going to get half of my equity in my home? Like, why am I not getting the retirement information? You're not talking about that. You're very specific to the children, which I think because in a divorce, it's so overwhelming with everything else that you forget about those things when you're actually there dealing with one topic, and it really helps you resolve it.
and sometimes you don't resolve it. Either parent could still, be like, no, 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 I don't want this. And you can walk away from mediation with no agreements.
Yes.
And that's okay too. Then we can handle the rest.
Yes. And kind of piggybacking off of that, I think we just got a call a few days ago or maybe last week, somebody that was talking about they were never married, right? And they want to file for family support, which is essentially spousal support. And we had to explain to them like you can't file for anything unless you're married. It's not that you're going to file for spousal support or you're going to have them pay for half of your stuff, because that doesn't, here in California, that's not the way it works. There's no common law marriage. Whether you're married, you file for divorce, and that's where we split everything out. When you're not married, it's only about the children. You're going to go to court and you're only going to deal with the children. The judge doesn't want to hear, well, he still owes me half of the rent.
Right. So,
yeah. So when it comes to that kind of stuff, I think that it's important to realize what you guys are going to be there for. And it's going to be about the children, because mediation is your last opportunity to figure out what you guys want before you get in front of a judge who's going to make these radical decisions that may not be what you wanted them to be and may not even work for the child.
right. We just had a client too who came in for, we just can't agree on visitation and holidays. They went to mediation, they resolved it, and we're like, okay, great.
We're done. Now what? I'm like, oh, now we're getting you divorced. That's it. We're good. So I think that a lot of people go into mediation and the thought about mediation scares them, but it shouldn't. I think that you should be more afraid of going in front of the judge and trying to explain all of this in a matter of seconds, because chances are if you don't have an attorney, you're going to forget. You're going to forget it all. You're going to go up there and be like, they're toxic.
But I mean, I understand working the office side of it. And when I get all these consults and I'm trying to gauge the information, I totally understand that this is the first time you're going through a custody case. It's the first time you're getting divorced. You're listening to, you have to go to mediation alone. Like, wait, what? I thought my attorney was going to help me with that. So we're here to clarify those things, right? Once we onboard you onto our cases, but your attorney should be able to
discuss all of that. Yeah, ease you, ease your mind. And we do get a lot of clients that'll say, I had this attorney and I knew nothing. They didn't call me back. The other thing that you really have to understand when hiring an attorney is that you need somebody that really feels like you're talking to a friend. Obviously, you need somebody that's gonna tell you, "You were wrong, do not send this text message again." If you do, I am not gonna go in there and try to tell the judge that you are dad of the year or mom of the year, because when they read this out loud, like, there's no coming back from it.
We're reading the talking parents and we're like, wait, actually, you're the problem. Our client's the problem.
Ethan, get them on the phone now. I need to tell them they are the issue. So I think that when you have an attorney, you need to be able to talk to them and tell them the most intimate parts of your marriage, of your relationship that you wouldn't even share with your best friend sometimes. I had a client a while back, and it took a while to get her to really open up to me. And when she did, she was telling me about her abusive relationship that she was in. And I'm thinking, like, you didn't realize that you were in this abusive relationship. She's like, well, I didn't really talk to anybody about it because it was embarrassing. And I'm like, yeah, a lot of people don't. They hide behind this pretend marriage that they have, and things, a lot of things happen behind closed doors, and people don't really know anybody, right? I also get people that tell me, like, oh, I have a friend and he got so screwed in his divorce. He didn't get the kids, he didn't get the house, he didn't get anything. I'm like, okay, wait, hold on, he didn't get kids? Like, what do you mean, like, at all? Because that would only happen if your friend is the problem. Like, what does that mean? What do you mean he didn't get the house?
Right.
Like, there's a lot more going on there. Like, oh no, she screwed him. Like, oh no, he probably did it to himself. Can I go back and get the facts of that? I'm nosy and I need to
And your
know.
friend isn't going to tell you, like, oh, I'm the problem. Like, yeah.
They're just gonna go in there and say, or when they have, I had a neighbor that got everything, everything. She got the retirement, she got to keep the house, she got to keep this. Okay, well, what happened to the guy? Did he die? Like, we don't know. Like, is he living? Did he just say, like, you have everything? Like, you can't put a price on peace of mind? Maybe. I don't know. I need the story. I need the facts. But people love to, I don't know, make believe all of the scenarios in their head because someone said, oh, this person got this person got that. And every case is different. Most people do not upfront tell you, oh, yeah, no, I sent these really horrible messages during my divorce.
Yeah. Or my friend, you helped my friend with their divorce and they got this and this and that. I want you to help me and I want the same. It's different.
I want a magic wand here. Sir, I don't know. Are you able to tell me what's going on in your situation? And I'm not going to discuss how it happened there, but we can try. But so in that situation, right? I need 50-50. Okay, where do you live and where does mom live? Oh, mom lives in LA and I live in Upland. Like, okay, how do you get the kids to school every day? Well, what do you mean? What does 50-50 look like to you? Well, you got it from my friend. Okay. Well, your friend lived 10 minutes. They were neighbors. They literally rode in the same vehicle to school drop-offs.
Probably at this point.
I know. Sometimes we really question some people where I'm like, are they getting back together? Do you think they're getting back together?
And then we'll see on Instagram, oh, they're back together.
And then a few months later, they call us like, oh, no, it didn't work out. I'm like, oh, okay, well, we're not back together. And that's okay. During a divorce, sometimes it does happen where feelings come up and people reflect on what's happened. And I think it's important to take that time to really say, do I want a divorce or do I not? And I've had people go through the whole process of the divorce, and then after they call me and they're like, oh, well, we actually decided to work things out.
We went to therapy and we figured out what we needed to work on.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, what are you like? Don't get married without a prenup because that was bad, guys. But no, I mean, I'm not. But I mean, anything can happen, and it doesn't mean that you're going to file for divorce and that's it. You're done. It really depends on what stage of done were you? Because it could be that something happened in the relationship and you're like, I need to walk away. Or sometimes you could actually be able to really save your marriage. It really just depends on both of you guys and how willing you guys are to work out. But you also have an attorney that you can call and say, hey, I'm kind of thinking about taking her back. What do you mean you're taking her back? The lady that cheated on you all those times? Okay, cool. Let me know how that worked out. And then when they do call and he's like, all right, I want the divorce now. And you're like, hold on, sir. We got to go through the whole process. I feel like Heidi's been dealing with that lately.
I have.
Not in her personal life. Oh, yeah, no. Like in a client that we have and phone calls that come in. Am I divorced yet? Sir, you would be the first to know if you were.
And I'm like, billing every day that you call me.
Don't you have friends that you can call? I feel like you call us a lot.
I'm not your friend.
Kidding. I feel like sometimes people do think that we are their friends because we try to make it so that they can call me. And even though we joke around, right, we really do try to provide a safe space, which I think every attorney should. I had people that'll tell me, oh my God, my divorce attorney used to yell at me all the time. And I'm thinking, well, okay, were you the bad one? And were you the problem? But maybe if you were not the problem, then why did they yell at you? Oh, because they used to say like, I didn't even want to come to court today. I have all this stuff going on, and I'm like, okay, you needed another attorney at that point. You didn't feel comfortable with your attorney or feel like confident in what they were saying. But sometimes when you hire someone, you're just so involved that you don't know how to get out of that attorney-client relationship, which is something that we probably should talk about at the next one because I think it's important for people to understand the dynamics of the attorney-client relationship.
Yes. Well, I think that's it for today's Drama in Session.
Yes, guys, thank you for joining us and for getting legally dramatic with us.
Yes, and we will continue to post the link for you guys to send your stories, send your questions. We're loving it on this end. I hope you guys are too.
And we don't give out names. Sometimes we will give a fake name, but it's all confidential. And we just really want to be here to spread the drama and help people really understand that you're not alone. We're here. We're here to laugh about the situation. And hopefully you will one day look back and say, wow, that was a lot of drama.
Thank you. Stay tuned for the next one.